A meeting of United National Party representatives from the Batticaloa district was held yesterday in Batticaloa under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Our country was in deep trouble in the recent past. If everyone listened to me and acted on what I said back in 2020, we would have been able to avoid a lot of those issues. I particularly highlighted that we needed $3 billion to manage the affairs of the state. None of the other political parties said so. What did the Samagi Jana Balawege and the Janata Vimukti Peramuna say on that matter? We were dismissed as liars since we were the only ones making that claim. So we were limited to just one seat in parliament. What did those in power do at the height of the crisis? Mahinda Rajapaksa, the then Prime Minister, resigned from his position. Subsequently, former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa invited Sajith Premadasa to take over as Prime Minister with the SLPP's support. However, they refused to take the responsibility of the country's future. The JVP, which yearns for power at the moment, was nowhere to be found back then. Are those our leaders? Can they lead our country? Cowardly leaders are of no use to us. We came into power and established a government with the assistance of a coalition of parties. We are now on the verge of pulling Sri Lanka out of bankruptcy. Many asked me to give up the premiership and the presidency back then. Today we are almost out of bankruptcy. What would have happened if I stepped down back then? That is the question we need to ask the SJB and the JVP. They abandoned the country during its darkest chapter.
Meanwhile, President Wickremesinghe also attended the Batticaloa district youth representative meeting held yesterday.
We faced numerous issues during the past 2 years. Although we are out of bankruptcy, our fundamental issue remains the same. We still don't earn the foreign currency required to pay for our imports. We are not an export-oriented economy still. If we fail to address that issue now, we will once again implode into a similar crisis in another 15 years, which will completely decimate our economy. So it is imperative that Sri Lanka becomes an export-oriented economy. The country's agriculture system, services and industries should be globally competitive. We also need to increase our productivity. The eastern province must be developed significantly. Measures are underway to establish oil pipelines from Nagapattinam in India to Sri Lanka. We have decided to relocate Sri Lanka's oil refinery to Trincomalee. Further, several solar and wind energy projects will also be launched here. Meanwhile, we have prepared plans to develop tourist zones in the eastern province. We are yet to develop the Mahaveli's B zone. Accordingly, we are now preparing plans to develop that zone. So a boost in agricultural products will definitely follow. Small and medium-scale businesses will also be developed. Those efforts will be pivotal in positioning the eastern province as a cornerstone in the country's transition to an export-oriented economy.